looking at so far is some sick sniping. All right, but coming back to the point, it looks like we've got a nice little area for what may be more infantry-based battling, and then you've got this huge landscape as well.
Notice that you might not have seen before in previous trailers or gameplay from the alpha is that the assault players now have access to explosives. Change the game. It really depends on how you use it. If you don't use it correctly, then you could actually leave yourself more vulnerable. It could going to do a massive amount of damage.
Well, speaking of it, you highlighted Ponyline HD as one of the players you wanted to watch for this ability. He's already eyeing up that train. He knows what he wants out of this one.
Definitely, but just so we can see here, this is a really good shot of just the scale of the map as well. It's absolutely massive. It is a huge map. You can see the objective off in the middle there. He's taking some serious damage, but he's going to come in, I think, for another strafe run if... Oh, he's going for the repair. He feels like he's safe enough to do that. But I think he's probably going to come in for another strafing run on that train.
And this is the beauty of Battlefield as well. It's not just about your infantry. It's up in the air. It's up in the skies. We're seeing those dogfights coming through. And now here comes that run again. The hit and run. Ponyline HD needs to back out of this. He's got to be careful. He is taking fire as well. They're not letting him just get away with this. And
oh,
that's it.
The armored train took him out completely. Though is that people up in the planes may be the best person, be close to the end of the round now. Just 10 seconds to go, and that's a nice way to finish the round. I think a good overview of the map and our first round of Battlefield 1 on the desert. In this map specifically, because it's so large, you really can take advantage of those sniper rifles in the right situation.
Now, anyone who knows me knows I'm a ridiculous fan of things like bolt-action rifles or anything along those aspects. I love seeing that sort of gameplay because I'm more an infantry person. You know, everyone in Battlefield seems to have their own type of how I like to play it. For me, I'm all about that life. And seeing already how they're kind of working in that nice little element that's just below that plane right there is so mounted, just taking the scenic route over the top. It just excites me. How do they get themselves into it? How do they cap those flags?
Yeah, and I mean, like, looking at what we've got going on up in the sky, you might think that they don't really get themselves in the battle. But if they're going for a strafing run on some of those objectives that are in the town there, maybe they get some destruction going on, they destroy a house, that gets rid of the cover. Maybe that sort of makes an inroad for their own team. So sometimes it might look like they're not doing much up there to help the people on. Dial is sort of war one color than the other. Obviously, you're friendly, you're blue. So if the dial is more blue, that means that there are more of your players, the actual train station, and there's a couple of flags either side, I think one either side, that it can have an effect on.
So, you know what, at least he keeps up to his promises. But let's see how the landscape is now evolving. What are we seeing at the moment here, score-wise? Who's in control, who's in the lead?
Well, like I said, if the Ottoman Empire didn't come
into play for the British Empire, they're around 70, 69 points. So you can already see it has had an effect on this, but it is being countered, it's being pressured, and the Ponyline HD is doing what he does best, already coming in with the a good bout of damage there, really chipping away at it, and it's creating pressure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he's up in the sky all game, obviously you're going to be focusing on the other planes, but as soon as that train comes in, he's already got it in his head. He knows what he's supposed to do to get rid of it. And at the moment, even though they've had the train for about a minute or so, the British Empire haven't really done a huge...
But let's take into account what we're seeing right now. Finally, we have the British Empire actually taking more flags than the opponent. They did for a little while. They had 4-3 and a little bit of a contest between the two, and already a little bit of a fly. Wasn't the issue before. A lot of the players were just playing for that. But that's not just Battlefield.
No.
Battlefield is more than that here.
And as we've said a couple of times, and anybody who missed that in the earlier part of the stream, when you kill players in Conquest, that doesn't count towards the ticket bleed anymore. Is taking some serious heat now from the Ottoman Empire. Whatever it is, they must have a good distribution across the map. They must have a few players here and there that are running between these objectives and helping to keep them.
Going to be the counter to this. Okay, we got
Mr. Dalek JD here coming in with the bomber.
Well, he was in the sky. This could be one of the big issues here.
Ponyline
HD is the man in the sky. So he is the, I guess, if you want to call it that, a hard counter. He has opportunity, but they have to walk through it, and they've not done that just yet. The train's about to go down. It's done for. There's no two ways about it.
What they need is a hard counter to Ponyline HD.
Pretty much.
I wonder if the developers thought to... They really have. And do you know what? I do believe that if the Behemoth had come along a little bit earlier, not that it does, but if it had come along a little bit earlier, I think the British Empire would have stood a chance. But with 4.5 minutes to go and a gap in the tickets of nearly 60, I don't really see a way that the British can turn this one round.
No.
Which is a shame.
It would need a heroic effort, and it can happen. We're not saying it's impossible. That's the thing. It's always possible at this sort of point. You've just got to completely lock